Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and I'd like to start out by saying I'm going to be cutting back on my Saturday videos. I skipped last weekend, obviously, and I'm going to be doing them every other week now. So, just figured I'd let you guys know. Now, on to your regularly scheduled review, which this week is Everybody's Gone to the Rapture on the PlayStation 4. To start out, I'm really not going to touch on the story of this game because it's a very story-driven game, so I don't want to give away any spoilers by accident. I'm aware I rarely delve too deeply into the story, but a game like this, I think it would be far too easy to slip up and give a spoiler away. I will say, I love this game's story. I loved the mystery of it. It's really cool. You're basically, I don't know, a nameless character, really, wandering around the English town of Yachton, which is completely abandoned. There's literally no one around, and it makes for a pretty eerie atmosphere. But what you do is you go and you witness memories, you find conversations, like phone conversations or conversations broadcast over radio. Also, when you find radios in the game, they all start out with a beeping sound, and then they start broadcasting numbers, and I'm under the impression it's something to do with the whole number station concept, but there's no real explanation, or at least not one that I found, in the course of the game. As for the voice work, it was top-notch. All the actors did a really good job. They helped you feel and understand these characters, even though you're only hearing them and seeing these characters, not in great detail, through the memories. I also really loved the sound design in this game, the running water, the breeze through the trees, your footsteps on asphalt or grass, just everything came together to help this world feel much more realistic. I think all the effects really helped build the world, and the music in this game as well was great. It added a slightly eerie and lonely vibe to the game, which makes sense. As for the gameplay, well, it's very similar to, well, Telltale's games or Quantic Dream's games. You spend your time exploring Yachton, the different zones of it, basically. It's a small town, but it takes time to really explore, and obviously during the course of the exploring is how you find the conversations and memories and start piecing together what happened. The controls, they are really, really tight. My only real complaint isn't necessarily with the controls themselves, but the speed at which your character moves. It's a first-person game, so the controls being tight is very important. It allows you to quickly change your focus as you need to look at things like memories occurring. The slow movement, I understand why they did it. It's so you could take everything in and really appreciate the beauty of the landscape and make sure you catch the memories and the different sound cues. But in a game that has so much exploring, I found it very important to backtrack, and moving slowly while backtracking sucks. As for the graphics, I honestly thought this was one of the more beautiful games I've played in a long time. I thought the lighting effects were great in this game. They took the effort to make sure that time of day affected shadow as well as the colors that you saw in the world around you. The artists put a lot of detail into this game, into the bricks, into the asphalt, the grass, etc., and it helps breathe life into this game. I'll also say I think the water looked great. It was this nice, crisp, clean, like brooks and creeks. And there was a good ripple effect when you would walk into the water. And I don't know, that just impressed me, because there's plenty of games that have water, but there's not a ton that do good ripple effects. The artists obviously also took the time to just add subtle details in the houses, in, well, everywhere you go, pretty much, to make it feel like this town has been lived in. I have two complaints with the graphics, neither of them are too huge. One is that when clouds pass overhead, while it does create shadows on the ground and over you and kind of darkens the area, which is cool, you look up and you don't see clouds, you'll see a clear sky. That's a little crappy, but not like really killing the game. My next complaint is slightly larger, and it's that when you change zones, if you just accidentally go into a zone that's kind of ahead of where you are or behind where you are, it'll change the lighting. And I mean the daytime lighting. So, for example, for me, I accidentally went backwards, and it went from, like, late evening to the middle of the day. And while that doesn't really have any effect on the story, it does affect the atmosphere a little bit, and that kind of bothered me, but not hugely. Simply put, this game is a buy, but there is an addendum. It's a buy if you're a fan of Telltale games or Quantic Dreams games, like The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. If you're a fan of games like those, this is definitely a buy. If you're not sure if you like those games, this isn't a bad place to test the waters because, well, it's a pretty cheap game to buy. So, in the comments below, why don't you let me know what you'd do if you woke up and suddenly, you're the last person on the planet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, subscribe. Have a good one.